Hello and welcome to another edition of Bad Pitch Energy. I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Robyn. How are you this week?
Hey Tom, I'm doing really well. We're in a different cities tonight. How's New York?
Yes, New York is great. Definitely on the chillier side, especially when you compare it to Houston, but I was here for a very good, happy reason for a wedding, and just enjoying my family. Gonna see some friends tomorrow, and so it's been a nice little trip. But I do miss you, and I'm excited to get back because
Oh,
opening
I miss
day
you
is
too.
fast upon us.
We're going to Friday's game, right?
We are going to Friday's game,
Mm-hmm.
which means we'll probably get tickets on Thursday.
Of course.
But I am also planning to I'm also planning to attend opening day, even if it's solo, because I get people work. And I have the luxury
Yeah,
of taking off of
I'm a little
work.
busy, fortunately. So could not get
She's
the day
important.
off for
She
you. I am a
accidentally
little
became important at work.
I did accidentally become important at work. I'm
But
in meetings
Robyn,
all afternoon, unfortunately.
that's terrible, but I also know you'll be live texting me as the game is happening, so I have confidence that you'll be
Absolutely.
able to multitask.
Oh,
But even though we are
absolutely.
far apart, Robyn, we are still close in the heart, and we have our drinks of the week. What are you drinking, Robyn?
I'm doing shots of soju tonight. What about you?
Oh, love that. I'm doing a screwdriver. It was about the only mixer I could
Fabulous.
find. So yeah, cheers to opening
Cheers.
week in Major League Baseball. And so, Robyn,
Mhm.
this is our long-awaited season preview episode in which we are going to make our predictions, Bad Pitch Energy's predictions for both the NL, the AL,
Mhm.
each of the divisions, the MVPs, the Cy Youngs, all that good stuff. And then we have some quite interesting rapid fire questions
I'm
in
excited.
which we make some predictions, Robyn, about, of course, yes, the stats of the season ahead, but
Mhm.
also the fun part, the storylines of the season. And we know in baseball, there are always so many storylines, so much tea. And we've had a lot during the off season, but I am so excited that this time next week, we will be talking about real major league games.
Yes. Alrighty. So I think we split up the awards or our predictions by league.
Hmm.
So do you want to
Yes.
start us off with talking about the National League?
Yeah, Robyn, I'll just start with the easy one here, and it's the National League West. I don't think there's going to be an analyst, of which I am most certainly not. I'm a fan, but I don't think there will be anybody out there who picks anyone other than the Dodgers to win
Mm.
the NL West. Now, here's what I'm going to say is different this year. The Dodgers only won the NL West by 3 games last season. The Padres
That's
were
right.
close, they were within striking distance. I don't even think it's going to be close this year. I think we are now going to see everything come together for the Dodgers, in which their star power, their homegrown talent, their recent signings really just come to fruition, and they win 105 games. So I'm predicting the Dodgers to go 105-57 and really leave the entirety of the NL West in the dust. I have actually the Diamondbacks coming in second place. I have them at 89-73. I just believe the D-backs, after they have teased us with that World Series performance a couple of years ago in
Mhm.
2023, they showed us that they were ready for the big stage. They've dropped off a bit, but I really, really believe in the Diamondbacks. I think this is the year that they could put it together and possibly get in as a wild card and make a run in the National League playoffs. But I've got the Padres coming in third, not far behind at 87-75. I don't see the Giants putting it together. I see the Giants actually regressing from last season.
Mhm.
I have them coming in at 79-83. And well, there is that team in Colorado, isn't
Ugh,
there?
the poor Rockies. The poor Rockies.
Well, here's the thing. We are all about a growth mindset, and I have the
Right.
Rockies winning 50 games this year. Now, they won
Wow. That's
43
a
last year,
shocker.
so I have them coming in
Ooh,
at
ooh, that you're being
50 and
optimistic with them.
112. I really think I am. But I think the NL West, it to me, when I look at the National
Yeah.
League, probably is the toughest division. A lot of people say the NL East is, but I really think the NL West is. You have the Dodgers, you're playing the Dodgers with more frequency in that division. You have the
Mhm.
Diamondbacks who are competitive every single year. You have the Padres who are competitive every single year. You
Right.
have the Giants who try to be competitive every
Right.
single year. And so to me, top down, that's a pretty decent division. Yes, you have the Rockies as your punching bag, but I do think by 2030,
Mhm.
we will be talking about the Rockies as a serious contender in the NL West.
That's a very
I could be wrong.
optimistic outlook for that team,
Well,
but
I've got to think that finally they're going to strike gold on some of these prospects. Like they are,
I mean, I
they're
hear you.
drafting. Like, yeah,
I hear you, but that's the way that these teams always go, like, their prospects always get poached. As soon as they get good, the prospects get
I
poached.
mean, that's true. But even for a couple of years, like they're going to have control over these guys for 6 to 7 years before free agency even comes. So I've got to hope that the Rockies are going to put something together because
I
what I
mean,
will say,
they have been to the
having
World
been
Series while the
to
Mariners have
they
not.
they have right, they have. And so I have got to think they have great fans.
Mhm.
Dana knows we went to Denver together and saw the Mets play there. Very passionate fans for such a shitty team. And so I've got to think that by 2030, they're going to finally get things right in Denver, but TBD. Doing another shot.
Yeah, I'm doing another shot. I'm trying not to,
Pour,
like, set
pour
off
one
the
out for
mic.
the Rockies.
I'm like, "Cheers." I'm trying not to, like, set off the mic with a little glug, 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 glug.
Cheers
Let's,
to the
like, get some
Rockies being good.
ASMR action going.
I love it. I love it.
Alright, what about the NL Central?
Well, Robyn, I've actually got a little bit of a change in the world order of the
Mm.
NL Central. The Braves last year won the division 97 games. They had a really solid season. But there was that team from Chicago that won 92 games.
That
And
is
I
true.
firmly believe that the Cubs will actually be in first place this year in the NL Central. I think they're going to win the division. I
Mhm.
think they're going to win it by 5 games. I have them coming at 95 and 67. I think Alex Bregman, not Carlos Bregman, is going to be
I
is
think he's
going to be
good.
a pivotal force. I think he's
Mhm.
going to be super solid for them, Robyn.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see both their young talent. I think Pete Crow Armstrong is going to have a huge monster season. And so
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see the Cubs come together. But I think the Brewers are still going to be a good team. They've
Mhm.
lost some of their star power, having traded Freddie Peralta to the New York Mets, but I still think they're going to be a very solid team. I have the Cardinals coming in as a much, much improved team. They only won 78 games last year. I have them coming in at a respectable 84 and 78. They've got some really, really young talent, and a young man who I'm going to talk about in just a moment, who I think is going to really propel that team. I have the Reds, unfortunately, regressing, and they're a team that I've always liked rooting for. I just don't see, after they got very, very lucky making the NL wildcard game
Mm.
last year, being eliminated in very short order. I just don't see it. And then also the Pirates. I actually see the Pirates regressing a little bit this year. Yes, they have Paul Skeens.
Right.
I think we're going to start to see the storylines of him not wanting to be a Pirate long term, just
Yep.
because, truthfully, they don't put a winning product on the field and they can't sustain that success. And so I've got the Cubs coming in, winning the NL Central. What are your thoughts, Robyn, on that?
I mean, I think that you hit every single point. Cubs, I think, are going to be the team to beat, especially with the addition of Bregman. I think we've seen he is such a leader in the clubhouse, and I think he's exactly the presence to propel that team to another shot at the World Series. And Pirates, Reds, Cardinals, who are they? You know, I think that's the general.
Yeah,
I think we always forget about the central
very true.
teams. So,
We
all
do.
right.
We do.
What
But I
about
think it's going to be a
your
fun race.
Yes. All right. And now what about your division, the NL East?
Okay. I promise you, I'm not being a homer. I'm not being blinded when I say this. The New York Mets are going to win the NL East, and I think they're going to win it by
That's a
7
hot
games.
take.
Here's why. The Mets play much better in even years. 2025 was a bust. 2024 was a hit. 2023 was a bust. 2022 was a hit. So I firmly believe in the power of the even years in the New York Mets. I also believe in this, a completely revamped identity. This
Mm,
is Juan Soto's team, period and end of story. It's not Pete Alonso's team. It is not Brandon Nimmo's team. It is not even Francisco Lindor's team. As much as I would want it to be Francisco
mhm,
Lindor's team, this is Juan Soto's team. And I think him being the leader of this team is going to make a huge difference. He knows he's a leader. He's looked at as the leader. I think
mhm,
Francisco Lindor, with the pressures of being the leader removed from him, is also going to have an amazing season. But
mhm,
how can I say the Mets aren't going to be good when they've acquired an ace pitcher in Freddie Peralta?
mhm,
They have acquired and they've signed Bo Bichette. They have Luis Robert Jr., who I think is going to have an
mhm,
absolute monster of a bounce back season. There's a lot of young talent that's also coming. They have Nolan McLean, who's going to be an ace in this league. Kodai Senga looks like he's about to be returning to ace form long term. And so I'm just so excited. Yes, we lost Edwin Diaz. Do I have faith in Devin Williams? Not yet, but I'm getting closer.
mhm,
And so I just feel so strongly about this. And here's also why I feel so strongly about this. I think the Phillies are not going to have a good season. We're already seeing the slow collapse of the Philadelphia Phillies. They won 96 games last year. I have them coming in third place in the East this year, winning 85 and 77. Third place, you may say, is because I have the Braves turning their fortunes around. They had a very unlucky
right,
2025, only won 76 games. Their manager left at the end of the year. I have them coming in at second place.
mhm,
Atlanta has always been a thorn in the Mets side, and they for sure will be again this year. But I think the Braves are going to have a really great bounce back season. The Phillies, I think, are going to get off to an awful start, and I'll have more on that in a moment, because I think their internal dysfunction is going to eat away at them.
mhm,
And also, we are now seeing they have an aging core, and that aging core,
mhm.
every year, they are getting older and less productive. And so I think they're going to have a rough season. I do have the Marlins improving ever so slightly. I have them coming in straight at 500, 81 and 81. There's always a piece of me, despite how much hell the Marlins have given the Mets over the years in ending many of their playoff chances in September. I want the Marlins to succeed. I think they're going to be slightly better, but still not good enough. And I have the Nationals actually going way backwards. They won 66 games last year,
Mhm.
was still not enough. I have them winning only 55 games, 107 losses. I think it's going to be very rough for baseball fans in Washington, D.C.
I agree with you about the Braves, especially having a bounce back year, because we also, for those who don't know, Acuna was injured for he was recovering from
He sure
injury for
was.
a majority of the year, and the 2
Yep.
months that he did play, he didn't steal as much, but he was still just as fast, still hitting. So I think having a full year of a healthy Acuna is definitely going to be that thorn in your Mets side for all year.
I agree.
He's also
And
coming off
Schwellenbach is
of a
coming back healthy.
yeah. Acuna is also coming off of like a really fantastic WBC run, so I know he's gonna be pumped going in to this next um season. So I think they're probably going to be your biggest competition this year for
Oh, I
sure.
think so. I think so for sure. It'll be really interesting. Speaking of players
Mhm.
coming off of strong WBCs,
Mhm.
energized, I am ready to predict our NL MVP for 2026.
Alright, and who
And
is it?
that is Juan Soto. And
Ooh, that's
again, to the
also that
point
could be a
of
hot take.
it can be, but it's not, and I'll tell you why. again, this is Juan Soto's team. He is going to tear it up. He is going to do all of the small things that lead to the big moments. He had a great statistical season in 2025. What
Mhm.
was missing was the big moment, the big hit. As far as I'm concerned, he did not and has not had one yet in a Mets uniform. I think 2026 is a year that you will be able to point to Juan Soto
Mhm.
and his record breaking salary and say, he is the reason the Mets are in the playoffs. Juan Soto, MVP for the National League. Lock it in, Robyn.
The only thing I will say to that regard is a lot of people feel like Otani is always the NL MVP lock because he can pitch and he can hit.
No.
What are your opinions on
Yeah,
that?
nah. It's not his year. No. I think that he's not getting it this year. I think it's time for the writers to mix it up, and I think they're gonna feel
Mhm.
that. And I do think that, yes, I have the Dodgers winning 105 games, but I don't think it's gonna be primarily on the shoulders of Shohei Ohtani, and so
Mm.
that's why I think that you're gonna be able to look at Juan Soto come the end of the season and say, "He is the most valuable player."
Alright, we'll bookmark this moment, and we'll come back to it in October.
We sure will, Robyn. We sure will.
Alright, who is your Cy Young winner of the NL this year?
So, speaking of the Dodgers and players who are going to contribute to the Dodgers in 2026, I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to have a
Mhm.
monster year. He already had a very respectable 2025,
Mhm.
112 games, sub 3 ERA, sub 1 whip, struck out over 200 batters, which is just wild when you think about it. I think he is going to be the hands down ace of this Dodgers staff. I think he is going to be, as we saw in the playoffs, just an absolute factor. Not that Cy Young comes into the playoffs, but I think we were able to see in the playoffs, especially in the World Series, Robyn, what
Mhm.
kind of pitcher he is in the big moment and what kind of pitcher he can be to be an ace. And so I just feel very, very strongly that, much to my chagrin, the Cy Young winner will come from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it will be Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah, I think your 2 front runners for this will definitely be Yamamoto or Skeens, and Skeens was last year, so I can definitely see this year being, Yamamoto. Alright, what about Rookie of the Year for the National League?
So, rookie of the year, Robyn, and you may have noticed I drafted this player in fantasy, and
I
he will
did.
likely be my starting second baseman. And that's JJ Weatherholt from the Cardinals.
Mhm.
He's going to be one of those dynamic infielders that carries a team offensively. And I'm so, so excited to see the Cardinals have another young homegrown player who can make a huge difference both in the batter's box, defensively, and on the base pass. And so I think JJ Weatherholt is nearly a lock
Mhm.
to be the rookie of the
Mhm.
year. And I can't wait to come back and be right about this prediction and
Alright.
hopefully carry me to another championship in fantasy baseball.
Ugh, God, Dan and I are definitely teaming up this year and taking you down. You're not winning
Hey,
this year.
it, it's
We
hard to
will
topple a
figure something
giant.
out. We will figure this
I'm
out.
sure you
But
will.
we will
I'm
bookmark this.
sure you will.
We will bookmark this. We'll come back. We'll return to it. Alright, and finally,
Deal.
who are you predicting to win Manager of the Year for the National League?
As much as I want to say it's going to be Carlos Mendoza
Mhm.
leading a very moving and fantastic turnaround for the New York Mets, I think it's going to be Walt Weiss for the Braves in his first year as Atlanta's manager. I think because he has far less payroll and raw talent to work with than
Mhm.
Carlos Mendoza. And so I think he having or will have improved the Braves to a very impressive 90-win season, making the playoffs as a wild card team will ultimately be the National League MOI. But I really do see Carlos Mendoza coming in as a close number two in the voting. I could even see uh, I could even see Dave Roberts again getting some votes just because,
Mhm.
as much as we do like to trash the Dodgers, it does take skill to get star
Mhm.
players to sustain excellence year over
Mhm.
year over year over year.
Mhm.
And I have to think that Dave Roberts has something to do with that. And so he does deserve some credit.
Yeah, I think after watching how poorly Mark DeRosa run the Team USA team of superstars, I think you have to give some credit to Dave Roberts to bring them to the World
Absolutely.
Series every single year. So, clearly he's
Absolutely.
doing something right because Mark DeRosa did everything
Yes.
wrong.
Yes. 100%. But Robyn, I've been far too complimentary to the Dodgers in the last 20 minutes, so it is time for us to move on over to the American League
Yes.
predictions. Lead us off with the AL West.
Oh boy. So, I did debate on how I wanted to rank my Astros and rank the Mariners in this prediction because if you listen to the pundits, they are saying that this is the Mariners division now. They're expecting the Mariners to come in winning 93 games a year. Astros, they're on the decline. They just lost Framber. Um, I think they keep missing a very key storyline last year was that the Astros literally went to the very last game to finally get knocked out of the postseason, and that they were doing that with a very, very, very injured squad. Again, the most injured team in like baseball history. So when you're factoring that in and factoring in that the rest of the AL West was also pretty injured, the Mariners were essentially handed the division, but they still had to fight for almost the very last week to win first place in the AL West. So when you have an Astros team now that is coming back mostly healthy, we're expecting Jordan to have a healthy season. We're expecting Paredes to have a healthy season. JP is going to be healthy on opening day. Um, Christian Walker, if he turns it around. I mean, he hit a piss missile this afternoon. So if Christian Walker can turn it around, if Yainer Diaz can figure out some plate discipline, I think the Astros still have it in them to produce offensively. And then we have a dog in Hunter Brown. I think we have dogs in Imai and Burrows. Um, I do agree we lost a lot of talent. Our previous core are all aging or have left. So we now have a younger core coming in, and with this I do think that they still have it in them to produce. So I do have my Astros. Maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I do have them winning the AL West again, 90-72,
Yeah.
and I have the Mariners right below them, 89 and 73. So I think it will be a dogfight again this year between these two teams.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and it will. I would love to see the Astros hit 90 wins. If they don't, I mean, it is what it is, but I do think they still have it in them just a little bit more than the Mariners. Although I will give the Mariners squad some credit. They do have a very strong pitching rotation if they're all healthy, and they do also have a lot of really young, good hitters who, if Cal Raleigh can reproduce his 60 homer season, it's game over for sure. Um, and I think with how close they got in the postseason this past in 25, I do see them maybe putting in that extra push to try and make it again. I have the Athletics actually in third. I see them winning 86 games this year.
Wow.
I think, which is actually, I think I'm being a little optimistic with them, but I do think they have, I think I mentioned previously, they have a very young core who is very talented in Jacob Wilson, Kurtz Komanik, um, Tyler Soderstrom, uh, and all and then they have a all-star in Brent Rooker. I think if the Athletics can figure out their pitching, I see them again really giving this division a run for their money in this year and in years to come. Um, I see the
Yeah.
Rangers staying the same as last year with, breaking 500, 81, 81. This will, in this case, drop them down to 4th, and I think everyone knows that this is the Angels. Angels are always the last place team in this division, unfortunately, with
Yeah.
79 2. They do
Sadly.
have some talented players in, like, Zach Neto, and
Sure.
but I do think they have some management issues in terms of, uh, the upper people. I can't think of the name right
They
now.
do.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Art something?
Our yeah, our Moreno, I mean,
Yeah,
he is a very hands-on, difficult owner.
yeah.
But Robin, I actually am in total alignment with your predictions here. I also think you are 100% correct. Last year in 2025, it was not that the Mariners won the division, it's that the
Mm-mm.
Astros lost it. And
It's the
I think
Astros
we are
lost it.
in for a dogfight. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're in for a dogfight until the very end. I think every single Astros Mariners series is going to be absolutely electric this year, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait for it. And I'm with
I
you,
th
Robin.
yeah.
The A's are going to be a much improved team, and they're going to be
Mhm.
really fun to watch.
I I really think this is the Astros division to lose again their main
Agree.
challenge, I don't think their main challenge is the Mariners, I think their main challenge is staying healthy. So,
Yeah, yeah,
if with the turnover in their entire, like, um, medical team over during the postseason, the hope
yeah.
is that this medical team can keep our Astros healthy.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. It will
Yeah.
be it will be very interesting in the
Mhm.
West. What about the AL Central, Robin?
So, I think the AL Central is actually the Tigers' division to lose. Last
Mhm.
season, it was a dogfight to the very last game between the Guardians and the Tigers, with, I think, the Guardians coming out on top that on top. So I see it again being another
Yeah.
dogfight between these 2 teams, in particular. I think the Tigers have the edge this time around because of who they added to their pitching rotation. You have Skubal, you
Mhm.
have Framber, you have Flaherty, you have Verlander, um, and I think all of those pitchers together, you're going to have something they're either gonna mesh very well together and you're gonna have a very magical season, or you're
Yeah.
going to have Framber lose his head and it will be a shit show. So, that'll be very interesting to see. They didn't really change much at all. Actually, I believe none of the AL Central teams really had much of a change in, on their squad, during this off season. But, I think the Tigers' pitching does have the edge over the Guardians. The Guardians, I think Gavin Williams is kind of emerging a little bit as their potential ace. Bybee is back. He seems to be healthy.
Yeah.
Um, I think,
Yeah.
they are still their pitching squad is staff is still a little marred by the Emmanuel Clase scandal, but I think is it Kate Cavalli who's been
Yes.
their closer now? He stepped in and he's really stepping up to the job. Um, I think the Guardians might edge the Tigers out a little bit in terms of who they have as on offensively. Again,
Mhm.
I am going to push for my Jose Ramirez agenda. Um, so I do think the Guardians might have a little bit more edge offensively, but I think the Tigers definitely have the edge, pitching wise. I think so I have the Tigers at 89-73, Guardians at 88-74. I have the Royals coming in third with 83-81. I do see them performing better than they did last year. Um, I think everyone saw how good Bobby Witt Jr. was during the WBC, so I do
Yes.
see the Royals potentially holding it down the middle, but, see them having a decent year. I think the upset is actually going between the White Sox and the Twins. I see the Twins actually losing the American League
Mm.
Central, winning maybe 60 games a year with the White Sox are gonna be winning. I generously gave them 71 wins and 91 losses
Oh,
because
wow.
the White Sox were very active. Actually, during the offseason, they added Murakami from
They were.
the NPB. They've been making trades left and right, surprisingly. So I do see them trying to beef up their squad a little bit. So maybe that might do a little something. But the Twins, I think, who are the Twins? Like, who plays for them? Literally, who plays for them? They lost
Nobody.
Pablo Lopez for the entire season. I think their only star player might be Joe Ryan, but I cannot tell you who hits for them besides Byron Buxton. But Buxton, can he stay healthy?
And Victor
I
Caratini.
love and Victor Carantini, I love Byron Buxton, but, like, can he stay healthy?
Yeah,
And he's
same.
also aging, so I see the Twins, like, just scraping together maybe 60 wins.
I'm with you, Robin. Minnesota baseball has really fallen. They used to be very, very competitive nearly
Mhm,
every year, and they've just made some really, really poor management decisions.
mhm,
And I know they're trying to get it right, but I'm with you. I think the White Sox are on the rise after
mhm,
winning 60 games last year. I totally agree with you. They can win 71. They can
mhm,
be sort of that pesky thorn in everybody's side in the Central. And so I'm
mhm,
really, really excited to see what I think is going to be, to me, I think the Central is one of the more exciting divisions just
mhm.
because you look at it and you have like no team stands out as like a
Right,
big spender.
right,
These are all teams that have to an extent built homegrown rosters. And so the
right.
fact that we have the Tigers and the Guardians, two mid-market teams battling it
Mhm,
out with the Royals, another mid-market to small
right.
market team in the mix is a lot of fun. Where
Mhm.
we don't have many small market teams is in the AL East, Robin. And what are your predictions for the AL East?
I think the AL East is going to be a bloodbath this year. I really think,
Mhm.
the American League East is going to be another bloodbath. I see the Blue Jays winning it. I have them I'm projecting them winning 99 games this year. Not quite
Mm,
100,
wow.
because they did lose Bo Bichette, but I do see them again. This is a team to me that is out for blood. They played their hearts out to the very last second of the World Series game 7 World Series, and they just couldn't quite clinch it. So I see this
Yeah.
year being their revenge year, and I see them doing everything possible to make it to the World Series again and getting that ring. You saw it with how active they were in the offseason. They added Dylan Cease. Um, They've brought back Max Scherzer, who I don't really think can really pitch like he used to, but I think he's a fantastic clubhouse presence. They've brought in Okamoto
Yes.
as well from the NPB. Um, I know they were in the market for some other players, but I think this is another team who is going to run it back, but gonna do it. They want that ring. They are out for blood. Um, And I think they've built a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Tough rivalry with the Yankees. And I know the Yankees and the Red Sox also historically have been huge rivals. So like, I think the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees are really going to be vying for first, but I do see the Blue Jays taking it. The Red Sox, I see them actually coming in second. I have them projected to win 92 games this year. They have added to their pitching rotation. It's incredible. They have Garrett Crochet. They added Sonny Gray. Was it Ranger Suarez No, it wasn't Ranger Suarez. Who did they add? Was it Ranger
Ranger,
Suarez?
yeah, they signed Ranger
It was
Suarez
Ranger
as well.
Suarez, yeah.
Yes.
They've added Ranger
Yeah.
Suarez to their pitching rotation. They also have some really young arms that are also
Yep.
expect to have really big years like Connolly Early. They have a young core finally uh, playing in the majors as well with Roman Anthony. I think he's going to mash. Marcelo Meyer, I think he's going to mash. Um, they still have Duran, who does provide some of that speed and that defense. So I think they are going to give. this division a run for the money, but I do see them placing second, and I actually
Yeah.
see the Yankees falling off a bit. I think historically, the Yankees have won first in their division almost every year, um, but I still have them predicted to win 90 games this year, but I do think
Mhm.
we are actually seeing the decline of the Yankees. Um, they seem to be really being ostriches, having their head stuck in the sand and not seeing the realities of the situation, I guess, with a captain in Aaron Judge who cannot perform in big moments. They are running back the same squad again, but much more expensive this time with Cody Bellinger, um, Jazz Chisholm, um, Anthony Volpe. They just sent Jason Dominguez back to AAA. I don't understand why they won't play him. I mean pitching wise, they have Max Fried. I think Garrett Cole's coming back this year. I think Carlos Rodon, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be back this year. So I do see they so on paper, I do think they have a good squad. I just don't think
Right.
it's it's the powerhouse Yankees that people expect.
Yeah, it's
And
not your father's Yankees team
it's
anymore.
not. And then like they're also aging. Like Aaron Judge, I don't see him ever actually winning anything important ever, unfortunately, to our
Mm.
um but yeah, I have the Orioles coming in fourth again. I see them winning 82 games out of 80. I know everyone is like the Orioles are going to have a bounce back. Are going to bounce back. They have Pete Alonso. They signed. Oh, they signed Ryan Helsley, Gunnar Henderson, Jackson
Ryan Helsley.
Holiday. They're all going to have like a bounce back year. I truthfully, I don't really see that happening. I think, unfortunately for the Orioles, they're just similarly to the NL West. They're just in a very, very tough division with a couple teams that are
Yep.
just very clearly better and kind of have the money to spend in a way that they don't. And then our poor Tampa Bay Rays. I have them taking last place, 77 to 85. Still an honorable number of wins, but I just don't think they quite have what it takes to topple um, these powerhouse teams.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Robyn. I think it's a Blue Jays division to lose. I think
Mhm.
though the Red Sox are going to be they are much much improved. They had I think probably one of the better off seasons of any
Mhm.
team in addition to signing Ranger Suarez,
Mhm.
acquiring Sonny Gray, they also acquired
Mhm.
Johan Oviedo. They also added Wilson Contreras. I mean, as
Yeah,
catcher, that
they
is
did.
a huge upgrade at the catching position. And so I think the Red Sox are going to be a sneaky team. I think the Yankees, will be a good team. They're going to get in as a wild card team.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. The Yankees have just adopted this mindset that good enough is good enough, and
Mhm.
good enough for them is making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if they make it far, great. If they get eliminated in the first round, well, we made the playoffs and we'll see you again next year. And so I
Yeah.
that's just it's a really poor mentality from a fan standpoint.
Mhm.
I don't think the Orioles did enough. Yes, I know they signed Pete Alonso. They made a few other signings. I don't think there's so much that needs to go right for Baltimore. Like
Mhm.
you said, all these guys need to have comeback seasons. They need to surpass their potential and what we've
Mhm.
seen from them. Jackson Holiday needs to finally be the breakout star we thought he was going to be. There's just too much that needs to go right. So I think they are going to be left at the altar. I don't see them making the playoffs. I see them having a better year, but I just don't see them making it.
Right.
Um, and the Rays, I think the Rays and I'm sorry, Courtney. Yes, I think they're going to be in last place, but I see in the next couple of years the Rays returning to dominance. I see
Yeah.
the Rays returning to being a perennial playoff threat.
Mhm.
They move in silence, but they are moving,
Right.
and I'm really excited to see it.
I mean, they have a young star in
All
Junior
right, Robyn.
Caminero. So
Yeah, and listen,
so
they've
I
got
think
some exciting things coming up. But
mhm.
Robyn, who's your AL MVP pick?
I thought about this for a good while, actually. This is historically, Judge's, I think Aaron Judge's award to lose, and I don't see it
Hmm.
going to him this year, and I think a lot of that goes to back to the WBC. I think the WBC
Right.
has really changed a lot of people's attitudes towards Aaron Judge, truthfully,
Hmm.
and I think because he could not live up to the expectations set to him on the WBC, I really don't see him performing to his usual level uh, during the regular year as well. So I think this year will be the year we might see some breakout stars winning the AL MVP. I thought about it potentially being Vladdy. If I do think if the Blue Jays make it to the World Series again, I do see this going to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But I'm probably putting my money on Bobby Witt Jr. potentially winning the AL MVP this year. I think he's one of those stars who is going to have a breakout year. Uh, Everyone was memeing his incredible defensive plays during the WBC. And I think that put him on a lot of people's radars, and I think more eyes are going to be on him this year, and he may win just enough votes to actually take the MVP.
I agree with you. I think he is, as we've mentioned before, a very underrated baseball player,
Mhm.
and I think he's going to finally get the love he deserves after having what I think will be a very, very strong
Mhm.
2026. What about your AL Cy Young pick, Robyn?
So, I think this is going to go to Hunter Brown of the Astros, and this is not me saying it because I'm an Astros girl. I do think
Huh.
Hunter Brown is actually going to win Cy Young this year for the American League. He came in 3rd last year, but if he keeps up his sub 3 ERA, his high strikeout rate, uh, if he's just continues being a dog, I do think that the Cy Young might go to him this year. Um, it kind of pisses me off to say this because I see that you gave the Cy Young to Yamamoto. I'm giving the Cy Young to Hunter Brown, and Fidel's number draft 1 and 2 pick are Yamamoto and Brown, and he's going to hear this and he's going to be internally cheering.
Oh
So,
man,
but
vindicated.
he's going to feel so vindicated with his draft. But I do think this is going to be Hunter
Hmm.
Brown's year.
Agreed. Totally agree.
Mhm.
Speaking of this being somebody's year, I am very much in alignment with who your American League Rookie of the Year is.
Mhm.
Who would that be?
I said it's going to be Trey Savage of the Toronto Blue Jays. Trey Savage is eligible this year because he only played 3 games officially
Yes.
last year, but he had such a meteoric rise. How he literally started the season in high A, and then he went to double A, and then he went to triple A, and then he pitched like in the regular season, and then next thing you know, he's in the World Series. Like, how cool is that? I think one of my favorite moments of the World Series last year actually was him striking out Shohei Ohtani, and he's just so cool walking away from the mound, and Shohei's like on his knees, hat kind of lopsided, still trying to recover from the strike three. I think Trey Savage is going to have a phenomenal year, and I don't think anyone
Mm,
else in the American League, as of right now, um, is vying for that Rookie of the Year position. So I think it's going to be Trey.
agreed. And coincidentally, who's your American League Manager of the Year?
So I think Manager of the Year is going to go to John Schneider of the Blue Jays as well. And this is not me like Blue Jays glazing. This is me seeing John Snyder actually get robbed of it last year from Manager of the Year because
Yeah.
prior to John coming in, the Blue Jays was actually dead last in the American League East in '24, so no one expected them to do as well as they did, and I think they literally outperformed everyone's expectations and made it all the way to the World Series, and I think you can credit a lot of that to their manager and turning around the, clubhouse, making the correct lineup choices, making the correct, moves. I mean, there were a couple choices that he made during that 18-inning game and during the World Series that a lot of people question. But I mean, every manager makes their bad choices.
Yeah, I think he's a really solid pick, Robyn. And I'm glad he got his flowers during the playoff run
Hmm.
last year in 2025 because he's definitely an underrated manager. And I think what was clear to me was those guys love playing for him. He
Hmm.
has their respect. And so I'm really excited to see him make an impact again on the 2026
Hmm.
Toronto Blue Jays. Those are our official predictions
Hmm.
for the NL and AL standings, MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and Manager of the Year. It is now time for us to jump into some rapid fire questions.
All
And you're on
right.
the hot seat first, Robyn.
Okay. Hit
We
me.
are giving out We Tried to Tell You This Player Was Overrated award. And who are you awarding it to?
This award is going to go to Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees.
Oh,
I have said this time and time again. Is Aaron Judge a phenomenal player? Yes. Does he deserve all those MVPs in the past? Yes. However, overrated man of the year. And I think this World Baseball Classic proved what everyone was talking about because he is Mr. No Show in the um, important moments. Strikeouts after strikeout, looking like a rookie, looking lost at the plate. That man is not built to be the captain of anything.
congratulations, Aaron.
Congratulations, Aaron Judge. You're just as overrated as we thought you were. All right, Thomas.
Oof.
Who's winning the first manager fired of 2026 award?
I think this is an easy one. I think Rob Thompson is going to suffer a similar fate to his predecessor, and I think he'll be gone by June. I think the Phillies are just going to be dysfunctional. I think they're going to be mediocre to start the season. I think they're going to do exactly what they did in 2022, which is how Rob Thompson got the job. They fired Joe Girardi in June. Rob Thompson has held that role ever since. I think, unfortunately, he will suffer a similar fate to try and what I think will successfully jumpstart a Phillies team around June, but it will be too little too late. But Rob
Mhm.
Thompson, I think your days in Philadelphia are numbered.
All right. Bye, Rob. It was nice knowing you.
See you later, Rob. Now, Robyn, the
Mhm.
player who had the biggest glow up in 2026, or the league has finally realized that they are fine, attractive. Who might that be?
So I am giving this award to my Dominican daddies. So I can list all of them, but I think some of the ones that have jumped to the top of everyone's list, Freddie Peralta. No one cared about Freddie Peralta when he was on the Brewers. We all knew he was good, but no one cared about him. And then he
Nobody.
came to the Mets, and all of a sudden he is on everyone's thirst list. Freddie Peralta.
And he
Austin
is
Wells?
fine.
Excuse me? Austin Wells? Again, someone that no one looked at twice. Then he put on the Dominican uniform, and next thing you know, his name is Austin Bueno. Like, Austin Muy Bueno. He got that haircut, he got that breakfast, his celly isn't quite there yet, but welcome to the Dominican Daddies. I mean, and then you always have Fernando Tatis Jr. Everyone is asking to be his next baby mama. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Junior Caminero, all the Dominican daddies. So, and then I also have to give an honorable mention to Eugenio Suarez. Again, I don't think anyone looked twice at Eugenio Suarez when he was on the Mariners last year, but that
Nope.
signing back to the Reds, going back to Cincinnati, going to the finals and the WBC finals with Team Venezuela and having that dangly earring, and I think everyone was like, "Ooh, Lord have mercy." So those are
The earring
my
needs to stay in
the earring needs to
2026.
stay. Oh my gosh, a man with a dangly earring. Chef's kiss.
Whew. Wow.
Oof.
Chef's kiss. Love it.
All right, Tom. Who is winning the Have a Seat award? The player who is about to get humbled in 2026.
I think, and I promise we're not picking on the Yankees. I think it's Anthony Volpe. I think Anthony Volpe is finally going to be humbled in a way he has not in 2026. And I do see him being optioned down to AAA
Oof.
at some point this season because he has not put it together in the way that he needs to. He's got minor league options remaining. I see the Yankees finally taking advantage of that and sending him down to work on mechanics,
Mhm.
defense, all of the things. And I think that's going to be humbling for old Anthony, but I think Anthony needs this.
I agree. I agree.
Robyn, what is going to be the thing that we talk about every single week in 2026, the storyline that will dominate our podcast and the headlines of Major League Baseball?
So, I see this going two ways. I think one major storyline that I don't know how much we may necessarily talk about it, but I do think it's going to be a very big talking point is Poly Market and how sports
Yes.
gambling has taken over baseball, either from the fan perspective or even the player perspective. I do, I do think someone else may eventually get caught this year for gambling because that has been something that's been a storyline every year for the past couple years in several major sports. So I see, especially with Polymarket partnering with the MLB, I think sports gambling, unfortunately for us, may just be another aspect of baseball that we'll be hearing much, much, much more about. So that's one side. I think another potential storyline that we do see a lot this year is going to be the talks around both skiing and skewball ball signing with another team or asking to go to another team.
I agree. I agree. I think you're so right that Polymarket getting in bed, or really MLB getting in bed with
Maybe
Polymarket,
Polymarket.
is dangerous territory. Yeah,
Mhm.
dangerous territory. And I'm with you. I think I don't know what the Tarek Skubal saga or how that saga will end, but I think it will be a prominent storyline along with Skeens
Mhm.
this season.
All right. And how about this is a fun question. Tom, who do you think is going to win the player most likely to be involved in a scandal in 2026?
Ooh, there were a couple of options, Robyn. I eventually settled on Matt Shaw of the Cubs, and here's why. Um,
Mhm.
Matt Shaw is someone who likes attention. Matt Shaw
Mhm.
is someone who missed a game to go to Charlie Kirk's funeral. Matt Shaw is someone who is going to see less and less playing time because of his
Mhm.
baseball abilities in 2026.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, I think Matt Shaw is going to do something stupid. And I think he's going to call attention to himself. I think he's going to put his foot in his mouth and virtue signal on many an occasion. And I do think that the Cubs are going to have a Matt Shaw problem in 2026. And you know what? You can't save people from themselves. It is what it is. All right. Well,
Okay.
now that we've had our rapid fire thoughts on some of
Mhm.
the league's hot topics, we are going to play a quick game of
Okay.
5 things. We're going to rattle off 5 things, and you have to respond in 1 or 2 words. Robyn, I'll begin. Freddie Freeman, go.
Teeth. I mean, okay, I have 2 for Freddie Freeman. One is
Your
teeth and one
top
is shower.
baseball. Wait, why shower?
So I had Freddie Freeman on my fantasy baseball league last year, and he was injured for 3 days because he had an accident in the shower.
Right. Correct. Oh my gosh. Okay. Robyn, your top baseball ick.
All the spitting. Stop spitting so much.
Yeah, I'm with you. Robyn, the Texas Rangers mascot captain.
Who?
The Dodgers.
Uniqlo.
Yeah, they're getting the naming rights to Dodger Stadium. That's wild.
Dodger Stadium is now Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. I have a couple words that come into mind for the Dodgers. Some of them I am censoring out. So I am.
Okay.
It's a tie between Uniqlo and Sellout, but I think Uniqlo kind of embodies all of that.
Fair. Absolutely fair. And last but not least, Robyn, Christian Javier.
Diarrhea, cha cha cha.
Can you tell the audience why that is a thing?
To provide context for why, whenever I hear the name Christian Javier, the only thing I can think of is diarrhea, cha cha cha. And that has to do with the lovely world of Yahoo Fantasy Baseball comments section. Christian Javier, fabulous pitcher for the Astros. Love him. However, during one game last year, he left after the 3rd inning and did not come back, despite the fact that he was doing really well, and everyone was wondering why. Apparently, he, I think, had food poisoning or got sick and may have had the runs. So, the Yahoo comments went into overdrive, and everyone was giving new verses with the refrain being diarrhea, cha cha cha. So that's all I can think of now whenever I hear the name Christian Javier is the lovely diarrhea, cha cha cha, diarrhea, cha cha cha.
I love that. I love it.
All right, Tom, my turn to throw some words at you. All right, first one is going to be Kyle Tucker.
Boiled chicken.
Do you want to elaborate on that just a little bit more?
The man has no seasoning. The man is as bland as they come. And that's a pity considering he came up one of the most diverse systems in baseball, the Houston Astros minor league system. And he played for years in the most diverse city in the United States. Shame on him for not taking any of that seasoning with him.
No,
Kyle,
none of the seasoning.
You're bland.
All right, what is your top baseball ick?
Ooh, my top baseball ick. It's all the bromancy. I've mentioned this before. It's all the bromancy stuff during the game. I hate it. It makes my skin crawl. We need to play with fire and intensity, and that's not it.
Okay, this is an Astros Twitter fave. Michael Schwab.
Ooh, this is very niche. Hungry for attention.
My word would have been chopped. Bald. All right. We'll keep going. All right. 2027 lockout.
Inevitable.
All right. And Phillies fanatic.
Just grizzly, needs a shower for a different reason than Freeman. And just very unkempt. I don't like it. And to me, he's in the same family as Orbit. orbit is very clean cut. The Philly Fanatic is gross, and I feel like he probably smells.
He gives me the creeps. He gives me the creeps.
100%. 100%. Well, thanks for indulging us and indulging me, Robyn, in 5 things. Now let's jump into our wild pitch of the week. And leading off is Robyn.
I've been trying to think about what could potentially make the MLB more competitive. I know we have the lockout looming, unfortunately, because you're going to have the conversations around salary cap, salary floor, deferrals. And I think another way the MLB could potentially bring some competition to the sport is by adding promotions and relegations to the team format. I think there are 2 potential ways they can do this. The first one may require some new configuration with minor league teams, but if you finish at the bottom of your league in either the American League or the National League, so 2 teams will get relegated, you will be relegated to the minors. And then the 2 teams from the minors in each division or each league will then be promoted to the majors. So I think this will definitely force the White Sox, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Marlins, all to actually be competitive, or you will be a minor league team. The other method that they could potentially restructure it is by splitting the current major leagues into 2 potential tiers and have them try to battle it out into who gets promoted to the top tier, and from the top tier who will get relegated to the bottom tier. So again, it will definitely require a lot of configuration, a lot of talking, but my main thing is I know we're mad at the Dodgers. I know we talk about how the Mets and Blue Jays have endless money to spend, but I do think the smaller market teams, they are smaller market teams, so they don't have the same money. They don't have the same pockets, but I do
Right.
think they can still do some potential things to at least stay competitive. Yeah, I think this may potentially be one way to force that.
Very, yeah, very interesting, Robyn. I actually like this
Mhm,
idea a lot. And I think it would be unique to see some type of updated configuration that really tries to bring parity to the sport
mhm,
outside of the financial piece of it all, but it's intertwined with baseball finances. And so
yeah.
I like this idea. This is cool.
Okay. And what is your wild pitch of the week, Tom?
Short and sweet, Robyn. I think opening day should be on a weekend. I don't think people should
Yes.
have to take off of work
Yes.
to attend opening day on a Thursday day game. I would love to see it be on a Saturday,
Mhm,
make it an all day event in which, whether you're going to the stadium or going to a local bar or watching with your friends, you're able to do so
mhm.
because so many people are still working during first pitch. And so I would love for MLB to fix that in future years. Make opening
Yes.
day on a weekend.
Yes, even make it a night game.
Yep.
I wanna be part of
I
opening
know.
day.
Well, let's
MLB,
hope
make
that
that happen.
if there is baseball in 2027, Robyn, which I highly doubt there will be, hopefully they fix that for you.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to our special
Mhm.
opening day season preview edition of Bad Pitch Energy. We'll be back next week when we are actually going to be able to talk about real live baseball games. Thanks for joining me, Robyn. We will see you on the next one.
We'll catch y'all next time. Bye.